Hello, everybody. Welcome to Goshen TV and to our new set. We are coming up in the world. Please, everybody, join us in hitting that very important like button and that share button so that we can have a thrilling conversation today. This is Goshen TV, where we talk all things prophecy, kingdom, finance, and help you to realize that your future can be secured if you begin to make wise decisions. I want to welcome already. We got Edward Gorham on saying he's from New Jersey. We got a warrior woman set on fire. Oh my lord, these YouTube names are just powerful. We got Lolo Moore from New Orleans. We have May Lee. Good morning from Pennsylvania. Blessings to you. We got Sadie Elliott from Houston, Texas. Wonderful. Laura Jones Gardner from Northeast England sending her love. Well, welcome everybody officially. And from the Philippines, Rosario Simba John. God bless you. And all of you tuning in today, please help us. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, family, hit the share button, hit the like button. I promise you, you are going to enjoy this topic. We're going to be talking about your next 7 steps to leaving your job. It's called 7 Steps to Firing Yourself from Your Job. Here are your next 7 moves. And we've actually sat down on this together, both myself and Apostle Dan, my co-host, who have both left our jobs. We've left our 9 to 5s behind. Apostle Dan, what was your 9 to 5? What did you do? I've never
I've had a
asked you.
bunch of 9 to 5s.
Okay, tell me some of them.
Door knocking in between St. Louis, Missouri, pastoring and church planting in Texas.
Okay.
It took a job, cold calling, business to business. Had several clients. One was office supplies, so me and my team would cold call on in person on 40 to 45 businesses.
Okay.
Sell printers, copy, paper, toner.
I did cold calling too.
Yeah.
I did. I worked for Bookers.
Door to door or on the phone?
On the phone.
On the phone.
Third party.
Yeah, I did on the
phone. But it wasn't really selling, actually. It was more customer surveys. But you had to get the quotas in and fulfill the numbers or listening in on your phone call to make sure you're doing things well.
That's real business.
So tell me, what did your job benefit you? Because this is not like a hater. We're not job haters. Jobs have their place.
Sure.
So what did your job teach you? Did it teach you anything, or you're just glad you left it?
Oh, both.
Okay.
Taught me a huge.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, that's a cold call now. That might be a deal.
No, that's my attorney. Okay. Go ahead.
Also an important phone call.
Yes.
I know you got a lot going right now with things.
Yes. Sorry.
Attorney thing.
Yes. Go ahead.
Both. I was glad I left as well, but I was really glad I did it. Side note, my oldest son, actually, to check him and his friend, they give each other a weekly challenge to step outside your comfort zone. This relates back to the question.
Okay.
And the recent challenge was to go out on a Saturday and just door to door enough times to sell a window washing service. And the first one to make $500. And he hated every door, but he won against his friend Ian. Because he went to more doors. He did only $200. He was a bit disappointed. And I said to him, son, this was awesome. This was amazing. You hit 40% of an incredible goal when many zoned out in their bed on the death scroll or on Netflix all day long. And you learned to bring more value than take. You're a superstar. You're a man. Right. So the same thing happened to me. Although I was married at the time with children, in between church plants, and we didn't have funding. And I went door to door, and I knew I just had to make this happen. And I hated every moment. I felt stupid. I didn't really learn my pitch very well, but I put the reps in. Right. And sooner or later, something clicked over 3 or 4 days, and I started to sell. And I'd walk into businesses, and I realized I was solving a problem. I was bringing a great solution. I was removing their headache, and
Mhm.
money flowed to the problem solving. And the light bulb went on, and I realized, wow, what I'd read in the textbooks actually works in the marketplace.
Wow.
And then I was one of the top reps in the country, and I
Come
ended up
on.
leading an office, and we were one of the top offices in the country as well,
Come on.
by God's grace. But it was numbers, reps, clear communication, connecting with people. It was a phenomenal
I
education.
love that.
And I was also very ready to get out of it.
Of course. So I think the three top takes you can get from that. Number one, teaches you discipline. Number two,
Yeah.
it gives you experience. And number three, hard work, which are three really good qualities to have if you're going to have a business: discipline, experience, hard work. Like, I'm trying to break down what you're saying into like three things maybe people can write down: discipline, experience, hard
Love
work.
that.
Good reason to get a job. You're going to get a job: discipline, experience, and hard work. And also, pay some bills, right? What are some of the bad reasons to get to stay in your job, or what made you
Oh.
eventually go, if you can put it in words,
Yeah.
what was that point that you're like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't keep doing this? It was
Yeah.
sustainable maybe for this
Yes.
experience, but when does it become too much?
Well, it was okay to go from A to B, pay the rent, pay the bills, put food on the table. But my life is not A to B. I have an assignment. So to get from A to Z and run my race,
Oh, I like that.
I can't have the 9 to 5
Right.
taking all my time
Oh, that's good.
serving the vision
That's
of
good.
an unbeliever and fulfilling his vision,
Okay.
taking me from my assignment, because I'm not finishing small.
Oh my God, Lord, I feel it.
Hey.
So the 9 to 5 took you from A to B, but you wanted to go from A to Z. That's really like a mind-blowing thing, right? So A to B is, you would define that as work, pay my bills. It's like survival.
Yeah.
A to Z, which is all the letters of the alphabet, is everything in between. It's like, family,
Yes.
enjoyment of
Yes.
life, health,
Yeah.
because you use all your health to get wealth, and then you end up using all your wealth to go get health again by the time you reach 70, 80 years old.
Crazy.
Your pension is going into buying you like health things for your high blood sugar, your high blood pressure, your hypertension, from all of the rat race you're running. So you hit a moment where you're like, A to B is too analog. I need a longer stretch, to a longer goal to achieve.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So let's get straight to it. I'm
Yeah.
sure people are really intrigued. What are the seven steps to firing yourself from your job?
Okay. Well, you and I were talking, and we put down these 7 simple steps to help people put together a plan for themselves. So how to fire yourself from your job, as you say, these 7 steps to get out of the rat race and build Goshen. So if you're someone that feels a sense of, I'm playing too small here. My life is not A to B. I have an assignment to fulfill. Here's these 7 steps. So the first one, and if you could speak to these, that would be
Let's
amazing.
go for it.
All right. So the first one is sacrifice good on the altar of great.
Okay.
And in that is believing you deserve better.
Right.
Could you speak to that, Apostle?
Yes. So many people, like you've rightly addressed, you're like A to B, A to Z. I like that language. I think so many people never leave where they are because where they are is good. They reason with themselves. It's not great, but it's good. And by good, it's keeping things going. It's comfortable. It's safe. At least there's something coming in. It's not great, but it's good. And in order for you actually to be, you have to, first of all, we can't help anybody who doesn't want to be great. If you want to be good,
So true.
seriously, if you want to be good, stay in your job, right? But most people want to leave their job because there's this burning itch. Like you said, there's more than A to B. There's more letters in the alphabet than A to B. There's A to Z. And so if you want to be great, then that's the first step to leaving your job. So you have to be like the disciples. Who's the greatest among us? You have to want to have an aspiration beyond being good. The greatest enemy of great is not actually bad. It's not even terrible. It's good. Good
That's
is the
word.
biggest enemy of great. And so many people never become great because they're content being good. And so if you look at where people are stuck right now, most of our viewers watching, they're stuck in that awkward tension between I'm good, but I want to be great. But the only secret to being great is only one, is you have to sacrifice good on the altar of great. Greatness is an altar and goodness must be the sacrifice. Abraham, you want to be great? Get out of your father's house. Oh, but I'm good in my father's house. I know you're good, but you don't want to be good. You told me you want to be great. So you have to get out of good in order to be great. Abraham, you want to be the father of many? Yes. Sacrifice your only son. But I'm good with my son. I know, but you can be great with more kids. But I'm good. And so if you want to be great, you have to be willing. First of all, we can't help anybody who's not willing to make that mental step that they're willing now to kill good on the altar of great. There is no great that has never killed good to get to great. There's nobody, no business person alive today that has never taken the first step to kill good on the altar of great.
Would you say people they actually do have more choices than they realize? They're actually choosing something that in many cases might actually be harder because I don't remember where that quote's from, but it's most men live lives of quiet desperation.
Mm.
That's C.S. Lewis or
Mm.
someone interesting.
Mm.
But they're actually choosing something very, very difficult. That life of desperation, that angst and that tension, that grief, that
Yes.
of regret.
Right.
What should be, what could be.
Right.
So would you say people probably have more choices than
I
they
think I
realize?
think people do have more choices than they realize, but I actually think somewhere along the line we begin to enjoy even the suffering of where we are.
Oh, why?
You look at the children of Israel, and for some reason, with the prospect of an amazing promised land, even on the journey, they're like, we miss Egypt. Imagine
That's so
saying,
true.
I miss prison. I miss incarceration. I miss when somebody was whipping my back every day. I'm tired of this freedom. This freedom is too painful. It's too exhausting. It's too daunting. Somewhere along the line, we seem to prefer physical pain to psychological pain because psychological pain comes with a psychological warfare that somehow you might fail on this venture.
That is so true.
Physical pain is instant. It's okay, you hit me, you knocked me down, you yelled at me on my job. I didn't do a great job. Psychological pain is a long term warfare that is far more painful than actually enjoying a physical pain. And so many people would rather endure the physical temporary pain to the long term suspension of what if I fail? What if I don't succeed? What if, and then also it's the it's the instant gratification of Egypt. Egypt tells you exactly what you're going to get for your suffering. It's the predictability. Human beings crave predictability. We crave it.
Mm.
So if you can tell me that at the end of this, I am going to do this, I am going to be this, then I'll do it. But there's no guarantee in outside of Egypt. There's only guarantees in Egypt that at the end of this, you're going to get leeks and you're going to get onions.
Leaks. That's what you were talking about the other day.
Right.
That pacifying effect.
Pacify. It's gonna pacify you and it's gonna give you an instant gratification. It's like human beings are very similar to dogs. I've discovered this in conditioning of human behavior. If I can give you a treat for a behavior, you'll repeat that behavior. That's upscale that to our global economy. If I can gratify you with some dog treats, you'll keep working for the system because you're being told, good boy, good boy, good boy. When you leave that system, who's telling you, good boy, sit, 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 good boy, bad dog. So you almost have to become your own, or at least hear the voice of the Holy Spirit leading you out of that system. Human beings don't work for paychecks. We work for gratification. We work for our wives to say, my husband is a lawyer, struggling lawyer. We don't care. He's a lawyer. He's a he works at the postal service. He brings in 50,000 a year. He brings in 100,000 a year. It's not the money, it's the feeling of pride. It's the good boy, bad boy trick that the world has played on us. And so to leave that means you're leaving an arena of emotional value, emotional
Yeah.
currency
Yeah.
to step into an arena where you have to be self-motivated.
That's the programming of Egypt.
Programming of Egypt.
Yeah, that cultural hypnotic. I think it was Myron Golden calls it a cultural hypnotic societal something paralysis or something. It's what you're talking about. It's so real.
Absolutely. And it takes the prophetic, it takes Moses, a prophet, to snap these economic slaves out of their codependency. And even when they're snapped out of it, they're walking 40 years still clinging to the hope that somehow they can get back to it. Just the craving, it becomes an addiction. We've discovered this. We also were addicted to mobile phones, and we are, by and large. I mean, we are, for all intents and
Oh,
purposes, cyborgs. We go
Oh, yeah.
everywhere with this.
Yeah, the neural link. It's already
It's
been
already
connected.
been connected. The only thing missing is
Yeah.
to open our brains. Oh,
Sure.
well, that's already happening. They're
Yeah.
going to implant it into our brain. So
Yeah.
we're addicted to phones. We're addicted to cocaine. We're addicted to pornography. We're addicted to Netflix. What are we really addicted to? What are we really addicted to? Everybody's discovered this. We're addicted to a drug called dopamine. Every human being craves it. When you hear bing on your phone, you run to your phone because your brain receives an immediate dopamine rush. Somebody's texting me, somebody likes me, somebody notices me. Even if it's your grandma, call and see how you're doing and tell you she's left some casserole in the fridge, you're like, oh, because you wanted that hit. Same thing with pornography, same thing with drugs, alcohol. It releases this dopamine rush. To step out of your job, you have to deliver yourself from that
Yes.
need
Yes.
for that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
You have to offset it. And so many people aren't willing to
No.
offset that.
So it's time for an exodus.
It's time for an exit.
Time for a deprogramming.
Absolutely.
So for those of our viewers that want some practical steps and are willing to say yes to your number one point of sacrificing good, I'm going for great. I'm going for great. I'm believing I deserve better. Step 2 was to view your job as venture capital for your business. So what's happening there?
Well, when I started a job, I was my first real job, not like selling papers. I was a marketing operations for Subaru Motors. I started off earning $1,500 a month. That was a lot for me back then. I was like, $1,500. Well, hey, I've hit the jackpot. And I was living in Coventry. Rent was $500 a month. So hey, I was a thousandaire at that time.
Coventry.
Coventry,
Oh,
yes.
I was down the road from you in Loughborough.
Okay.
Leicestershire.
Okay. And so, working that job, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to get from good to great? In this job, I got a wife now, and we're getting ready to have a family. I have 3 kids now, but we're getting ready then to have a
More
family, more responsibility, more finances, all of these things. I got married broke. I got married BROKE, broke. And so here I am in my first job, and I decided to go from good to great. And so I started to pay off my rent, ask my wife if she'd be willing to live on a shoestring budget whilst we invested the rest of the money that we had into our first kind of, what we're going to talk about in the next phase, some kind of business strategy.
That's awesome.
And so I did that. And sooner or later, I left that job while I was fired because AI took my place. I was let go.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then but I had sustainable income at that time to survive.
That's amazing. Did that take a lot of discipline for you and your wife to
Huge.
decide we
Huge.
have to sacrifice?
Right.
What sort of stuff did you sacrifice?
We shopped at what you call those? British Cross,
Oh yeah, the charity shops.
charity shops.
Yeah,
Bought our furniture from charity shops.
yeah.
Bought an old MacBook, like the old
Oh,
ones that still look like
oh yeah, with the
like
white
this
one.
thick. No, like the
No.
big
Oh
desktop
yeah,
one,
yeah.
big brick desktop.
Oh yeah.
Bought one of those. Bought everything from charity shop. Bed, this dirty grandma sofa,
Bed
dirty
and mattress.
bed,
That's
mattress,
discipline.
sofa,
Yeah.
everything. We didn't buy them actually. We picked them up. We told them we can't afford anything. They said
Oh
just
yeah.
take it.
Wow.
So none of our furniture matched.
Okay.
Everything came from this charity shop.
Yeah.
And we just lived like that. That's how we
That's
lived.
awesome. So you made the decision. You were taking hold of your future.
Yes,
You were making it happen.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you were viewing your job as
venture capital.
as a gift
Yeah.
from God to have capital.
to
You were
have
generating capital.
Yes. And a lot of people don't see their job as that. They see their job as spending money.
Yes.
So they go out and they
Yes.
spend. And then they have a business idea and they want to go to a bank or their grandma so they can have your pension fund to do my business. Like, okay, first thing you want to know as a venture capitalist, have you invested in your dream? Have you actually bought into it yourself? If you haven't, then what are you doing? So I was working as marketing operations, and I'll tell you after step 3 what I actually went into. So
Okay.
yes. So
Okay, no,
yeah,
that's
so,
good. Yeah, that's practical. So, okay, so step 2 is view your job as venture capital. It's a gift. You've got money coming in,
Yeah.
so just stop spending it. Stop eating all your seed.
Stop eating your seed. Your job is not a harvest; it's a seed money.
Right,
You have to start seeing it as seed money.
right.
And if you don't see it as seed, you'll eat it, and then you'll be like, "Where's my orchard?" And it's like
Yeah.
you've eaten it. You've
Well,
eaten
why
your
do
whole.
people do that? So why do we all do that at times in our life where we've got a bucket of seed? A little bit of it could produce a whole field,
Perspective.
and we eat it.
It's perspective. This is the scripture that hits my brain every time. He gives seed to a sower and bread to an eater.
Woohoo!
Who
That's
are you? It's
huge.
perspective.
Yeah.
Are you a sower or are you
Or
an
an
eater?
eater.
You have to decide. 90% of people watching, unfortunately, consumers.
Yeah.
Christians we should change the title Christian sometimes. Forgive me, I may offend people, to consumer.
Consumer.
Come to consume
Ouch.
prophecy, consume blessing,
Oh,
consume miracles,
yeah.
consume healing. If you're not giving me what I want, I'll go to the next church because I'm here to be a consumer. Very rarely do you get sowers. You usually, 9 times out of 10, you're getting an eater, somebody who's there to eat. And so when you finally find those people who have graduated, like Apostle Paul, once I was a child, I thought like a child. What do children think like? Mommy, can I have it? Mommy, can I buy it? Mommy, can I eat it? Mommy, can I get it? Kids walk into shops and they pick up stuff and they walk out. That's 90% of Christians, still infants in our minds. There's that small percentage. It's like, I'm tired of eating and being hungry tomorrow. I'm tired of this. Give us this day our daily bread. I thank you for the miracle of bread, but I'm graduating from miracles to principles. It doesn't mean I don't need miracles anymore. I still need miracles, but it just means principles should become my norm and miracles the exception.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a prophetic word for
That's a
much of
prophecy.
right there. If you're among a generation of consumers of religious goods and services, don't be surprised you're acting the same when you rub shoulders with people that consume. Put yourself in a different room, a different environment. Bring more value than you take, and just watch it come back to you. So step 3. So once you get your furniture from the charity shop, which actually could turn into a very nice eclectic collection in your room.
I have to say,
like sort of a hipster vibe.
I have to say, I could probably show you
There
some
are some
pictures.
deals.
There's those are some great stuff we got.
So then step 3 is start. You called this an Exodus business.
No, you called it an Exodus.
I was giving you the
No,
credit.
I'm not taking the credit for that. That's your title. I love the title.
We decided, we talked about it in the car yesterday on the way to prayer. Start an Exodus business. The goal is not to get rich, but rather savings to start to save $1,000 a month. So this blows out of the water. The Dave Ramsey put 1,000 aside into savings. This is Never mind about an emergency 1,000. This is get 1,000 per month.
Absolutely.
So you have an Exodus business. So you're getting ready for your Exodus. You're getting ready to go. So how do you begin to do that? How can people be that aggressive to save 1,000 a month?
Interestingly, I discovered that my job was actually my business, my Exodus business.
Ah,
So I was working for somebody else, making $1,500 a month, and it was a part-time job. Actually, it wasn't full-time, so it was Monday to Wednesday, so they could pay me that money. I thought, wow. And what I'm doing is I'm telling my boss how to market his cars. Wonder if I could tell like 3 to 5 other people that and just make another
yes.
$1,000.
Do the same thing.
Do the same thing. With
Yeah.
the other
Well,
2 days of my week, I find 2 other people who I do exactly what I'm doing at my job.
What you already know.
And I'm not making millions of dollars.
No.
I was literally charging, actually, funnily enough, I was charging $1,000 a month, a charity, to give them marketing consultancy on how they can market their business, paying me every single month.
Wow.
And then I found an FMCG product, a food product called Tastemith. Same thing. They paid me $1,500 a month. So now I have 1,500 and 1,000. What do I do with that money? It's like, oh, we're rich. Let's go buy clothes now. And I'm like, baby,
not yet.
Not yet. That's our saving. Ask my wife. She was like, why are we still living like we're poor? It wasn't a lot of money. 2,500 extra on top of 1,500 in Coventry. Don't get me wrong. That's king's money. But still, we still kept the same furniture. We still kept the same stuff. And we put that extra money into a savings account. And before you know it, you have the next step.
That's awesome. Okay. So we're on step 3. So you gotta get that money every month coming in. So you're now changing your life. You're changing the game. It's still hard.
Yes. And if you're gonna do that right now, you guys that are watching, and just type Exodus
business.
If you're going to do it, activate it right now and say, I'm starting my Exodus business. Your Exodus business, by the way, doesn't have to make you rich. We're not looking for, you see, some people automatically think, I got to make millions of dollars. No, your Exodus business has to be your bridge between your job and where you want to be, your next step. So if you're doing that, I need you to type in the comments right now. Just only 2 of you are doing it. Come on. Okay, here we go. Exodus business. Everybody, just type Exodus business. Thank you.
Love it. Okay, I think I forgot to say why you're saving that up. So in these particular 7 steps, it's in a matter of months to have 10,000.
Oh, so I'm allowed to say that now.
So yes,
okay,
so that because number 4 is get your investment property and rent it out.
So your Exodus business is to raise your first $10,000.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. What's the equivalent in your country, your currency? That's up to you.
You can do it.
It's just raise your first $10,000. We figured, if I'm right, Julie, is that right? $10,000 can get you your first investment property. $10,000 can get you your first property, right?
Oh yeah.
That's like, what's that? $100,000 property?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't need anything. But that's in the course. So
right,
we'll stay with
that's in the course.
So we'll stay with this. But you definitely can do it 10,000.
But definitely do it $10,000. Like, I can't raise 10,000. That's $1,000 a month in your Exodus company. So start your Exodus company and don't be greedy. Charge your clients only $1,000 a month. That's all you're doing. If you want 2 clients, that's $20,000. But just set that goal. I'm gonna charge you $1,000 a month to do all this work. All this work, $1,000 a month? Yes. Now, if your business is $500 a month, then get 2 clients.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But it's just your Exodus company. I know people who do eyebrow tattooing.
Oh,
that business is $500. I almost left the preaching ministry. That business right there is somebody said I saw
is that an announcement?
Yes, I'm about to. Somebody said I saw the Rob Hell t-shirt. Just zoom in on this so people don't think I've gone rogue and I've left the apostleship. So this is shameless plug. This is not my merchandise, but I love this, man. This is a robbery t-shirt, and on the back, I don't know if I can I turn around this live TV here? Let's try this. Can you see that?
Just about.
Oh, a little bit more.
Rob Hell.
It says Rob Hell. So I'm not backsliding.
It's all good.
It's all good. Just check out Miles Rutherford's merchandise. Make sure you get your Rob Hell t-shirt.
Nice
That's
plug.
Rob Hell. Nice plug for
There we
Pastor
go.
Miles.
That's good.
So make your make your $10,000.
Yeah.
And just don't be greedy. You're still working your job. It's probably best if you do a nice part-time job, whatever it is, make you some smooth income. But if you can get it in your job, great. If you're making $3,000 a month in your job, then get out $1,000 and put that in savings every month. So maybe
Beautiful.
that's your Exodus company, just a savings company, right? A holdings company.
Yes.
Give it to somebody or give it to
Yes.
somebody. Okay, here's a good thing you can do.
Yes.
Give that money to somebody you trust.
Yeah.
And tell them,
Yeah.
even if I scream at you,
Don't let me have it.
never let me have this.
Just made your own bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell me absolutely
Yeah.
not. Even if I'm starving that month and I
that.
need that money,
Love that.
just tell me no and put down the phone.
I love this.
And if I call you back, block me.
I love this.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
That has to be the Exodus money. That's your
Yes.
Exodus money.
You just made thousands of entrepreneurs. Anyone that's listening, you just got them an
Straight
Exodus.
away.
I
Straight
love
away.
that because God's faithful.
Amen.
He gives that seed.
He does.
We just got to
To the
stop
sower.
eating it. Yeah.
You just got
To the sower.
To the sower.
That's the whole show today.
That's the whole
if you
show.
get that, your life changes.
Absolutely.
It also makes me think, Apostle, 10,000, you are well on your way to investments, but it can be done with less.
Less.
You can buy a
But that's
first
for the
time home.
course.
That's for the course. Oh,
That's
I
for the
said too
course.
much.
You said too much.
Oh, I helped families in St. Louis buy houses with no money down, and they were crying with joy. And in the course.
In the course. In the course.
Got to stop myself.
In the course of time.
Number 4. So did we do number 4? Rent out your investment property?
No.
No.
So
Okay,
number 3
4.
is with the $10,000, buy your first investment property.
Yes.
Don't live in your first house.
Mm.
I'm going to be very controversial. Do not live in your first house.
Really?
Don't do it.
No, don't.
Don't do it.
I lived in it, but then I moved out and rented it.
Exactly. So we learn eventually, right? Don't live in your first house. Why? Because your first house is another cost.
Yeah.
Your bank will lie to you and tell you it's an asset. It's not an asset.
Yeah.
It's a leaking, screaming liability. The boiler may have issues. You got rent, electric, gas, mortgage payments. That house is not an asset, and it's not owned by you. 10% of it is owned by you. 90% of it is owned by the bank that loans you that money. And so that house is not where you're going to live. You're going to live in a nice, cheap, rented apartment. Simple. Downscale your life.
Sure.
Right?
You don't have to fix the roof.
Don't have to fix the roof, nothing.
Awesome.
And turn that first house into your investment property.
Love that.
Rent it out for at least, $1,000 a month, $800 to $1,000 a month. Your first rental property.
Someone else is paying the mortgage.
Somebody else is paying the mortgage and living in that house.
It's awesome. So you're solving a huge problem of so many people.
Absolutely.
People always need a house. They always need somewhere to live.
Yes.
So they'll pay you. They'll pay your mortgage.
Exactly.
They're going to pay the bank debt.
Exactly.
They're going to pay the principal. They're going to pay the interest.
That's
they're going to pay the taxes. They're going to pay the insurance. And they're going to put money in your pocket.
But money in your pocket as well.
That's crazy. And then the house is appreciating.
And the house is appreciating in value. And that house that's appreciating in value becomes your bank.
That's amazing. Right.
Huge.
Right. And so even if there was a massive economic downturn, the 4 walls of the house are still there.
Still there.
They fell down, your insurance policy pays. Usually they don't fall down.
Exactly.
And so even in a downturn, people always need houses. As last time I checked, babies are still being born, growing up, getting married, having more babies, need a house.
Houses.
So in a short matter of time, it could be a year, it could be 5 years.
Absolutely.
It's going to be on a big upward swing.
Exactly.
We checked the value of our house in Bath, and we bought it for £380,000 in 2020, February 2020, right before everything went weird overnight in the pandemic, and it's at 600 and something.
Wow.
It's a really short period of time. Yeah.
Wow.
and that my wife manages that and Airbnbs it, and just one weekend of someone staying there, it's around about £2,000, and the mortgage is 1,100 and some £13 with Halifax on a really low 2%
So
thing.
just one weekend of somebody
weekend.
staying there, £2,000. How many weekends do you averagely typically
Every
get?
weekend is booked.
Every weekend. So
Every
that's
weekend.
£8,000, and you only pay £2,000.
Yeah. City of Bath is a tourist city. So if you pay attention to where you live, often you just see, wow, this is what's happening in my city. You might live in a city. I was asking Ray, worship leader here, about what's happening in central Houston around Sunnyside, and he said they're starting to call it the medical district. And I thought, oh,
Medical district, nurses coming.
yeah, they stay 3 months, 6 months. They work. So if you put USB, they're tired. 12-hour days.
12-hour days.
You put a nice flat screen plasma TV and some USB ports and a comfortable bed. It's all clean and nice. This is just ideal, and it is rented by another or third-party organization on behalf of the. It's just the opportunity,
exactly. And that's another thing you want to talk about, right? Protecting your asset with a company, right?
Yes.
You don't want to go into property as a sole trader.
Sure.
You want to have a company protecting you, right? So you'd start an LLC or some kind of organization, so you don't own the property. The LLC owns the property, therefore the LLC is liable for anything should there be bankruptcies, lawsuits, etc.
Very important. Yep, very important. And I think starting your entrepreneurial journey, you can just get started, but then yes, put those things in as soon as you can get the right advice and get that right understanding, get the wisdom for yourself, and then even put the LLC in trust as well to protect it from even further from litigation, from legal issues, and it's not actually yours anymore. You don't own it, but you control everything.
So good.
That's for another show.
Another show, another time.
Woo! Okay. Number 5. So you've rented out your investment property. Number 4. Number 5, you put down, you're going to add value to the property so that later you can take out equity for a second property. Right. And then ultimately, we calculated about 6 properties would bring you to about $3,000 a month. If there's that's very conservative. 6 properties could in some markets could have you well over $10,000 a month.
Yes.
But we're being conservative here. Yes. So how do you add value to a property so that you can have more equity in it? How does that work?
So once you buy a property, anytime you add something to the property, maybe you make the kitchen nicer, you refurb it, you change the flooring, you add underfloor heating, minor changes, major changes. You actually increase the value of that property as you improve its livability. And then obviously, if God bless you, you're fortunate enough to have a train station move close to town and a rail route move there, or a shopping center there, or a university or college start there, then all of those things improve the value of the property. When other properties' values go up, every property in that area tends to go up. When other properties go down, property value in that area goes down. So your house becomes a bank. It becomes a place of what we call equity. So it increases in its equitable value, which is the value of purchase against the new value at potential sale.
Perfect.
And because of that, a bank can actually give you money out of that property's new valuation. Exactly. It can give you a difference of that to actually plug into what we would consider you doing another property.
Yeah.
So you can start another commercial, residential property, and then that property, you can do the same thing to that property, take equity out, get another property, take equity out. And by the time you have it, you have 5 or 6 different properties, which is earning you an average of maybe minimal $6,000 a month. And from that $6,000 a month, leave your job.
Yeah.
Say, boss,
this is gold.
God bless you. Thank you for everything. I'm out.
Yeah. I love that. You know what I realized? Our houses in St. Louis, my wife would bring in furniture, couple of leather couches, put coffee on, and fill the atmosphere with nice smells. Sometimes paint one wall that looked a bit that was it to increase the value of the property, because it's such an emotional purchase for people. And they thought, oh, they will sit here, we'll drink our
We'll drink
coffee,
coffee
and
together.
it looks not. It was the smallest thing. Sometimes I
Wow.
put a little bit of drywall in, either myself or with a friend. In St. Louis, there's basements. I did a basement, very simple, 2x4s and drywall and a bit of carpet. Very, very simple. The other house, we made the garage into a 5th bedroom, used the equity like you just explained. It added 17, that was the bathhouse, 17 pounds to the monthly payment, because it would cost 10,000 from the equity.
Wow.
For 17 pounds more per month, we had a 5th bedroom, but it instantly, I don't remember how much, but it was quite significant how much more value it added to the house.
Wow.
So now, and that's the one in Bath, we're now Airbnb. So now we're Airbnb for parties of 12 rather than just whatever it was, 9, 8 or 9. So what you just said is because I don't know electrical and plumbing and all that stuff. It's actually very, very simple what you can do to increase
very small things. Absolutely.
They are.
Yes.
So then you've added value to your property. You're using the equity to buy more properties. You're just doing the same thing again.
Same thing again.
You can do it.
Rental Airbnbs. Now, obviously, we're kind of speaking in general terms, and there's more to be explained in the course about the technicalities, where to find your land or property, how to locate the right place, because no one just want to go out there and buy a house, and the house is just a terrible location, terrible place, terrible area, no schools, nobody likes it, no hospitals, and now you've got a liability that's leaking money as opposed to making any cash. So you really got to do your research or know somebody who has done the research.
Absolutely. I remember, if you're an Airbnb person, I remember when I first discovered airdna.com, a website that shows you exactly how much money people are making right in your street, right in your zip code where you're looking on Airbnb. So there's no excuse. You can see what your Airbnb is.
That's good.
I really like number 6, tender your resignation.
Tender your resignation. Yes. So now it's a good time to tell your boss, I'm out. Thank you so much for the time. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice or whatever notice you need, and start working your exit strategy.
Yes.
You know, be grateful for the job, what it taught you, the lessons you learned, take those vital lessons with you.
Yeah.
But
you're ready.
Time to stretch your wings and get from A to B to A to Z.
It's time.
Yes.
It's time for everything under the sun, Ecclesiastes 3.
Absolutely.
So you have the cash flow. So now I think people are scared to be responsible for themselves financially. Could you talk about that mindset shift for a minute, from thinking someone else is taking care of you financially to then you being responsible?
Well, I don't think young people suffer this problem greatly, because young people suffer from overconfidence because they've never failed. And so there's this feeling of invincibility. Young people feel like they're unbreakable. They feel like they're going to live forever. When we're young, we think, oh, we're going to live forever. I'm young. I'm going to do whatever I want. So actually, you're not speaking to the part of their brain that has failed. The older we get, the more we encounter failure, and those failures teach us the wrong lessons. And so when we encounter those things, it puts something in our mind. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to take risk, because risk means failure. And then the more kids you have, on top of that, compound that with a wife or husband, in any case, kids, you now start to take less risk, because you're trying to, again, hold on to good at the cost of great. And so I feel tremendous sympathy for people who have taken risk at a time where they've had a big family. We took our next big risk when my wife was pregnant.
What was that?
We had started an organization that was bringing in a lot of income. It was a subscription model. And at that time, the Lord told me to fully join Dr. Sharon.
Wow.
And it was huge.
You were married at the time.
Married,
baby on the way.
Baby on the way. We just left Coventry, left my parents' house, managed to make the Exodus transition from my Exodus job into Windsor, where the rent shot up double what it was in Coventry. So we're now paying about 1,000 something in rent.
That was a lot
and it was, yes, nice apartment. We'd upscaled. We managed to buy stuff like sofa. Now we weren't getting it from charity shops, and the Lord told me to cancel, not to cancel, to put all of our subscriptions under Dr. Sharon's ministry and help
Wow.
support what she was doing.
Yeah.
And my wife was the only one I told. Because if I told my parents or anybody else, they would have told me I'd lost my mind.
Yeah.
And so we made that next big risk. And all of a sudden I said, everybody, subscriptions are canceled from now on. If you want to support any ministry, please go support organization. Please go
Wow.
support Dr. Sharon.
That's amazing.
All of a sudden,
That's a big, scary step of faith.
Yeah. But all of a sudden, we canceled the subscription, which was capped at $30 a month. And people started resubscribing at $100 to $150 a month. It was like they were waiting for the cap to be lifted because of so many people wanting to give more. We had one person giving us $1,000 a month just to continue doing what. Well, please just continue what you're doing. We'll just
Beautiful.
support you as you are serving
People of
this
revelation.
lady. Yes, and we doubled just by doing that alone. And so, you learn some of these things. The most successful person in the world is the person that is where God wants them to be at the time God wants them to be there.
That's money.
That's it.
That's good.
If God says go to this place, as long as God said it, there's ravens that are going to feed there, no matter what's happening to everybody else.
Yeah.
And so, really,
That's
if you
right.
could talk about the secret to all success, obey God
Amen.
quickly.
Yes.
If you obey God slowly, that's still disobedience.
That's the supply.
And I offended somebody by saying this. If God tells you to do something and you pray about it, your prayer is an act of disobedience. Woo!
Shh.
I offended so many Christians when I said that. What if you're praying about how to do it, which way to do it, where to do it, do it. The only response to a commandment is doing.
Do it.
God says do something. He's not expecting prayer. He's expecting action.
So that's not Nike, just do it. That's the Lord. That's the
Lord.
original freedom business.
Yes,
Just
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's deep. Hard to move on when you go there. Just do it.
Just do it.
Place of abundance. All the gold belongs to God. The economies belong to Him.
Yes.
Number 7, bringing it home. Start your Goshen business. What's the difference between a Goshen business and an Exodus?
Your Goshen business, your Exodus business was you're just enough.
Yeah.
Your Goshen business is you're more than enough. Now you're talking about generational wealth. A loving father, good father leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So now you're talking about your legacy business. What are you going to leave behind? It's not just your legacy business, it's your legacy businesses. Christians in business bother me in the way that everything has to be an instruction, a prophetic instruction. Oh, I'm just waiting on God to tell me if He wants me to do this. And I get the need for obedience, but if you're not careful, you enter into the realm of sovereignitis, where everything has to be the sovereign will of God. It's like the Christian who told me that they hear God for everything. I had a Christian tell me, God tells me in the morning what to wear. Tells me wear green socks today, wear a blue dress today. I'm like, you need God to tell you which clothes you're going to wear? There are things in life that God leaves wisdom to direct you. Wisdom is profitable to direct. So 2 great directors in life, the voice of God and the voice of wisdom. When God's not speaking, wisdom's screaming. And God never speaks where wisdom is already speaking. I've learned this about God. He'll never give you a rema on what He's already given you a logos on.
Wow.
Never. Because, oh God, should I marry this man who's not a believer? Crickets.
That would be a no.
No, crickets. You won't even hear no.
No.
You'll just hear crickets. Or you will hear a no, but you made up the no. I mean, you hear a yes, but you made up the yes.
The logos is the no.
The logo says, don't be unequally yoked with an unbeliever. It's already there.
Yeah.
So you're praying about Rema for what God's already given you logos on. God, should I start this business? God's not going to say anything because Ecclesiastes says, don't start a business, start 7.
Yeah. That's a t-shirt. Get the print press quick.
Don't start a business. Ecclesiastes says start 7.
Start 7.
And then he says, yea, even 8.
Oh,
For you.
We need a keyboard.
Don't even. So
don't start a business. Start 7. Somebody getting this?
Come on. So we're like, oh God, what's the name of the business? It's like, you're wasting your time.
Business number 4 is what the name is. Yeah.
That's the name of business 4. So he says, invest in or start 7 ventures. That's what Solomon says. Start 7 ventures or at most 8.
At most 8.
And he says, for you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Disaster is inevitable.
Yeah.
Darkness is inevitable. The Bible never says if the storms come. I remember I was living in Nigeria and my YouTube channel was like cash cow. It was just effortlessly, without me doing videos. This is without. Wow. It was making, without averaging, maybe conservatively, let me be conservative, 8,000 a month. Really? Without me doing any videos. That's just residuals from sponsorships, from subscriptions, from ads, right? When I started doing a video, that would go to 10 to 20 to 30,000 a month on my YouTube channel, right? When I plugged in. Now, if I'm not plugging, it just small. If I am plugging, but averaging. One day, YouTube shut down my whole channel. Oh, no. Shut it down. It only just opened up again last year when I moved to the US. It shut it down for a whole year.
They shut it down. Too controversial. To something about
a lot of
presidents,
reasons, but
country leaders.
A lot of reasons. I talked about COVID and different things. They shut me down. Not only did they shut me down, but they gave all my subscribers their money back and canceled all my subscriptions. Wow. I'm not talking about the 200,000 plus subscribers. I'm talking about the private subscribers who pay. Gave them all their money back, shut it down, making 0 income.
Ouch.
From my YouTube channel. But because I already had other streams of income, it hurt me, but it didn't kill me.
I love that.
Right?
Yes, you had choices.
I write books.
Yes.
My books are making residual income. I travel. My itinerary is making income. I own property. My property is making income.
Yeah.
So I was in pain, but I wasn't dead.
No.
Most Christians live on one stream of income. Yeah. And then when it fails, like, what am I going to do? I can't believe you did this to me. This is my mortgage. It's like the Bible says, by wisdom a house is built. Wisdom has built her 7 pillars, 7 streams. If you want to build your house on just 1 pillar, you got to build it on 7, not on 1. And then Solomon said 8. So if you've done 7, finish at 8. Don't retire until you have 8 streams of income.
That's amazing. I need to count my businesses.
I
love that. We just opened up another e-commerce store yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Pretty excited about it.
That's good.
That's awesome. The pain, the struggle is if you get let go from your job and you're living paycheck to paycheck. So everything you've just shared with us today is not rocket science. I grew up without a trade. My degree was in business at the time in England. I didn't really, I mean, I read a few books, I suppose it worked on me, but I didn't really learn something that really carried me into the marketplace or gave me skill or relational skill or people skill. And so I didn't, yeah, just what you've shared with me, the simplicity of it, I get it.
Yes.
I get it. I'm not a coder. I don't have to learn special code. It's the simplicity of it. So for our listeners, I think there's such beauty in what you've just said. Anyone can take that 9 to 5 job, whatever that job, or if you're in nursing, that 12 hours a day job, whatever it is, or even however highly qualified you are, make a small change in your life today.
Absolutely.
And you employ the seed that God faithfully gives to the sower.
Absolutely.
And get your harvest,
Amen.
move into entrepreneurship, and build Goshen. Love it.
Amen.
That was practical today.
Very practical.
Woo.
Very practical. So who's closing out?
So shall I mention the course,
Yeah,
the
go
land
ahead,
course? We've
go
been
ahead.
mentioning it every show, so I'll mention it again. But probably what I haven't fully said is what we did is we put our minds together to come up with something that would be incredibly practical, like today's show, step by step, so that anybody, and there's been so many messages from viewers who are in other countries, Germany, Italy, at the African nations. Who else? What was the other one that messaged us the other day? Was it South Africa or somewhere? Nigeria. Lagos. Yeah. So you can, and I've checked the legality of it. I'm not a lawyer. That's always my disclaimer, but I've checked the legality of it as well, just to check wasn't just couldn't find, but apparently by law, anyone in any nation can do this by buying land with no money in the US. So we put this together. We also created some bonuses, and we were trying to keep that a secret, but we couldn't. So we came up with some bonuses, and one of the bonus short courses is how to buy businesses with no money, because the demographics show that so many business owners, this has never been the case in all of history, that there are so many aging, retiring business owners. They don't have a plan with their business to sell their business. They don't know how to sell their business. They've never thought about what they would do to sell their business, and they're disappointed because their family members don't want to take on the family business, the boring automotive shop, the boring laundromat, the boring practice, whatever it might be, boring to the family members. So the kids don't want to do it. They want to go. So they need someone to come along and make them an offer on their cash flowing business. And you can use the cash flow of the business to buy the business. Just gave the secret away. We made it another course. My wife's looking at a business we should close on at the end of the month in the wellness industry. Another course is buying houses with no money. So my second oldest daughter, she's 22. She just did this with a house in Hawaii. So she got it under contract with absolutely no money whatsoever. And it was a VA loan, really low at 2%. Because I'm again giving away all my secrets here. There's a lot of military people in the islands of Hawaii, and they get given a really, really good government program that gives them a mortgage at a really low interest rate with no money down, but then they're really struggling how to sell. I don't mind giving away all the secrets. You know why? Because God is a God of abundance and generosity. So we've got these bonuses. Apostle told me we even convinced him, we had to twist his arm a bit. We've convinced him to put you're waving at me over there. No? Oh, never mind. You want him off his phone? Oh, Lily closed on it yesterday. Okay. But we convinced, mostly Charles, maybe with Julie's help, convinced Apostle Tony to get his most popular course. I hope you know this. The Goshen course, and include it for free in this bundle.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
I know you knew that. I think you knew.
Yes,
that.
I knew.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Just checking.
Wow.
Before something
We're so
fly under the
generous.
radar. Yeah.
I love generosity.
So there's multiple courses, and I took my whole list of my realtors that are investor friendly in 15 states, my whole list of title companies. I think I'm going to get in trouble with some of my peers in the land industry because it takes years to build these lists, but we're giving it to you. Not only that, final thing, not only that, but the other thing that leaked that we were trying to keep secret is when you buy the course, you'll notice there's also an opportunity, if you want to purchase something additional. I call it an order bump, in marketing, but it's something additional, which is a 6-week program with our whole land team. So we've developed a team. Apostle Tommy has basically partnered with my whole land team. So it includes my son who's in our sales department, my other son in our marketing department, one of our favorite realtors, and there's a fourth, I can't remember the fifth, sixth person. Anyway, a whole team. And if you want that, you have to pay extra for that. You get 6 weeks of coaching where you'll have day-to-day support with my land team to make sure you get your first deal under contract in those 6 weeks. I think we went crazy here. And it comes with a money-back guarantee to do that. So if for whatever reason you put the work in, you're disappointed, you get your money-back guarantee on that 6 weeks of coaching. So the risk we've made to zero because we want to prove to you how practical it is for you to generate capital because it's go time.
Absolutely.
That was a good pitch.
Absolutely.
That's some of my best sales pitching.
That was great.
Is that okay?
So I'm so sorry. That was great. The camera was on you, so I
Good.
was just, but great.
Was waving at you. I was wondered if he needed you for something.
No, that's wonderful. So the idea is for you to get in on this how to buy land with no money initiative. It's a great course, great opportunity. We want you all to be a part of it. But I believe 10% of you are going to take advantage of this. I really do. And I'm hoping that 10% is watching right now. If that's you, you just have to fill out this form and give us your details, and you're going to get some information from us as to when we start and all of the details of that coming soon. It's going to be exceptional course. And so, somebody asked in the chat, is business a calling? Well, if you don't realize that every day of your life you're in a business, whether you like it or not, the moment you stepped into your job, you're in a business. The moment you went into a bookstore, you're in a business. The moment you walked into that grocery store to buy those fruits and vegetables, you're in a business. Whether you like it or not, you're in a business. The challenge is, what do you want to be? Do you want to be the sower, or do you want to be the eater? Do you want to be the buyer, or do you want to be the seller? Do you want to be the lender, or do you want to be the borrower? You just get to decide. This whole thing is to challenge you to decide what side of the table do you want to sit on. That's it. Are you called to business? Well, is business a calling? Well, your bills are calling every day. If God's not calling you, your bills certainly are. Sometimes we need to stop trying to look for the call of God in heaven and start looking for the call of God in Goliath. Goliath is screaming at you every day, calling at you every day, telling you, I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you. And if you're busy saying, oh God, am I called to take down this giant? That giant's going to eat your lunch. It's time to, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, because we just spent an hour.
Good.
I'm grateful for questions. I don't want to dismiss anybody's questions, but goodness gracious, I just want believers to wake up.
Yes.
I wish I could just shake them and say, wake up.
Yeah.
This is real. Everything is calling. Imagine David standing in front of Goliath, and Goliath is calling, and David's like, well, I'm waiting for God to tell me, should I take down Goliath? I'm just waiting for God to tell me. By that time, Goliath eats everything. Every day, something's calling to you. I love the scripture that says, and he came to the fig tree, Jesus, expecting to receive fruit, and there was no fruit. And so Jesus answered the fig tree. I love that. But it says Jesus answered the fig tree. That means the fig tree spoke to him. That fig tree was telling him, I'm never going to produce for you. That fig tree was telling him, you're never going to get any fruit from me. And he answered it. Every day your bills are talking to you, but you're not answering it. Every day your bank account in negative is talking to you, but your silence is agreement. You're not answering it. It's time for Christians to wake up and answer. I'm just
Well, what shook me up was when you prophesied over me and about business and the prophetic on January the 4th.
Oh, really?
And God wanted more of me. He wanted expansion and multiplication without the use of more of my time or without self-reliance, but a shift in gear. And what you're doing is you're doing a prophetic shaking. I can tell in the Lord, you're shaking people, but in the Lord, it's the shaking of a father. There's love come on, son,
Yes.
rise up, you fight the enemies.
Amen.
That prophetic word came into my life and it impacted my
Praise
whole
God.
team, my children, impact the generations. Arguably, we cannot afford to hide our heads in the sand.
Look at this concept I'm thinking about. Christianity is the largest faith group in the world today. You could almost kind of compare that with the children of Israel in Egypt. There was at least we know of by count 3 million of them, and that was just counting the men.
Yeah.
But what good is being a 3 million army if all 3 million of you are slaves?
Wow, this is good stuff. This is like the after show notes. This is the behind the scenes. I think we're still live.
It just hit me.
Yeah.
It just hit me now whilst you're talking.
Yeah.
And whilst this question came, Christianity is the largest faith group in the world today. You could compare that to the largest army back in the day of Egypt. At least 3 million of them, 2 million of them were men, fighting men of age. So at least we know there are 3 million of them, at least, probably more.
Yeah.
And yet God said, what good is an army if all of them are slaves? All of them are slaves of the economy of Egypt. All of them are slaves in their mind. So we can be the largest army in the world, but if we're slaves, we're no good to God.
That's deep. I think I need to lie down. That's huge right there. May the Lord stir. Yeah, we should probably finish the show.
Here's a video about how you can join that land course. And the next voice you'll hear is the outro. God bless you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Register now. The links are in the bio. God bless.
God is restoring land to his people. He wants his people to inherit the land, to do business. Luke 19 says, do business, occupy until I come. Build your wealth with assets that are other than just fiat currency. Learn what you need to learn to be able to quickly acquire assets such as real estate in a really short period of time, and the time is urgent. So I want to encourage you, you need land. You need to buy real estate, and I'm going to show you how to do that without any money.
All to come at Goshenites.com.
Years. But 9 years will be as 9 months. 9 months will be as 9 minutes. The clock has now reversed. And before, where I put you in a counter, you are now in a countdown.
John Kerry is sounding the alarm, pronouncing that the world has only 9 years left to avert a climate catastrophe.
8 years left, the Lord says. 8 years for the new ecclesia. 8 years for a new world order.
The Great Reset, how the push for global government and why 2030 is such a pivotal year for this sinister agenda.
I am raising your 7-year Joseph plan. For 2030, only wealth will speak.
The Great Reset is an idea to fundamentally restructure the global economy.
14 million jobs will disappear in the next 5 years as more companies adopt advanced technologies like artificial intelligence.
6 years left. 2023 has ended, and you now have 6 years left. Goshen was how they prepared for the famine on the horizon. They repositioned themselves in a place of financial favor, and that is the season we are now in today. It is time to build Goshen.